Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Smallville and the animated sequel that is supposedly coming. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. So we're back talking about Smallville, talking about the animated sequel, because there was this article that I bookmarked a while ago, because there is talk about who the potential villain could be for the sequel. Plus also I've got another article from Screen Rant that I got to break down. All links will be in the description below to both of the articles that I'm talking about. So first things first, let's give you a little bit of a recap as to what we know right now about the Smallville animated sequel. So according to Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, the show is ready. They have pitched it, but they haven't had a proper response from Warner Bros. So it's kind of in that limbo phase. So it's all ready to go if they get the go ahead, if they get the green light. And if they do get the green light, they're going to get the showrunners of Smallville involved. They're also going to get the actors to return, and they would be playing their respective characters in animated form. So the first article that we're going to be breaking down is from superherohype.com, and the article begins like this. While providing an update on the status of the Smallville animated series, Superman actor Tom Welling revealed that the potential series would resurrect a character that was killed off in season 7. So speaking with Screen Rant at Comic-Con Stockholm, Welling opened up about the Smallville animated revival he is developing with Michael Rosenbaum that would pick up after the series finale of the live-action series. The actor, who played Clark Kent across all 10 seasons of the show, revealed that some test animation had already been completed, as well as a teaser poster that confirms the return of a popular character. So we talked about Andy's article the other day about what Tom Welling had to say, but I want to hone in on the villain who was mentioned by Tom Welling and could potentially be the main villain and a major return for Smallville. So the quote is, "I think it would be a fun idea. We already have the animation done. I don't know if Michael shared it already, but we have a poster for it. It's with the cast and Lionel Luthor looming behind them." So Welling shared this, confirming that Lionel Luthor would supposedly be a part of the animated sequel series despite his death at the hands of his son, Lex Luthor, in season 7. So this is what Superhero Hype had to say about this. At this time, it is unknown how the animated revival would resurrect Lionel Luthor. The original Smallville series did introduce an alternate Lionel that hailed from Earth 2 for its final season, although this version sacrificed himself to allow Earth 1 Lex to be resurrected. It's possible that a clone of Lionel Luthor or another alternate version could be introduced, although until the project officially gets greenlit, fans will likely not know how the revival plans on reintroducing the popular character. So let's talk about this. Could Lionel Luthor be a major part of this animated sequel series? And seemingly based on what Tom Welling is talking about, how they have this poster, they got the main cast there who's obviously going to be the main cast once again. They stand there unaware of Lionel Luthor behind them. So the question is, would they revive him? Would he be brought back from the dead, the original version of the character that is? Or like the article says, could it be another alternate version of the character? Not one from Earth 2, because obviously that one sacrificed himself to save Lex. But it's very possible with this sequel series, they could go even further. They could introduce another version of him. It can be alternate, it can be from somewhere in the multiverse. And I feel like that is probably our best bet, because they did that in the actual TV show before, and resurrecting him would be, I think, more of a trouble than just going with what the continuity already allows for in Smallville. So let me know down in the comments below, would you be excited to see him return? Do you think he would make a good main villain for this animated sequel series, potentially the first season in the show? I think it would. I think it would be a welcome return, and people would like to see Lionel Luthor back once again. But again, let me know, what do you think about this down in the comments below. For now, let's move over to Screen Rant, because they posted a video on the 4 things that must happen in the Smallville sequel show. So we're going to break it down. and go through everything that was said in the video, break down and give my thoughts and opinions on what they are saying in this video. So the first one is, how does Lex recover? Well, throughout Smallville, and this is what they said in the video, Lex Luthor and Clark Kent developed one of the most iconic superhero villain dynamics. Though Lex's memory was wiped at the end of the series, we know he eventually becomes Superman's arch nemesis in the future, beyond the end of Smallville, beyond the end of season 10, and a sequel could give fans the clash we are waiting for with Clark's Superman, who obviously was just revealed right at the end of the show, because Smallville was obviously about Clark and his friends and everyone surrounding him before he became Superman, and obviously it was a fitting end to the show. And so you would get Clark's Superman versus Lex Luthor, who fully remembers their past in this sequel show, and this would allow the show to follow Lex as he rebuilds his power and everything obviously that he lost, and we could see him piece together memories and eventually recalling Clark's true identity. So what do you guys make of that? Do you think that Lex would make a full recovery and he would become the Lex Luthor that we're used to? Obviously, I think it can be presumed that this animated sequel series will be set after the end of Smallville. I'm not sure if they're going to include the continuity of the comics. I know Tom Welling hasn't read the comics, so I don't know if he knows everything that went down. So there is always the possibility that they could ignore the comics and just start where they left off with the end of season 10 and continue beyond that. They could skip a number of years forward and you can see Clark as a fully fledged Superman in that animated show, and you could see the return of Lex Luthor, who potentially could remember their past and he could piece together Clark's true identity or Superman's true identity. And it would be interesting if they did go back on removing Lex's memory because it was wiped at the end of the show. So by giving back his memories, you could get a proper good clash between the two characters, obviously like we've seen in so many iterations of Superman projects where Superman faced off against Lex. So I would love to see that. Obviously Michael Rosenbaum is super involved in this animated show, so I definitely think he will be back, and I think Lex will be back. And potentially they could go down a similar storyline of Lex's recovery. Now let's move on to the next thing. So the next topic is, what happened to Chloe and what will we see of Chloe in this animated sequel? So Chloe Sullivan was the heart of Smallville in its early seasons. Her journey from high school reporter to heading up the Watchtower was unique, especially since she is an original character for the show, and although Chloe exits the show as an established ally for Clark, her final scenes in the flash forward left questions hanging, and the Smallville comic bridge and the gap between Chloe establishing the Watchtower and then ending up in Singapore. But it would be good to see how it plays out on screen and cement the comic as canon. So here Screen Rant is talking about a lot to do with the comics and how after Smallville Chloe went on to do big things to do with like the Justice League, and they continue by saying, building the Justice League in the final season, Smallville introduces viewers to future Justice League members including Green Arrow, Aquaman and Cyborg. However, the team never fully develops and Superman's leadership role remains a bit underexplored again in the Smallville season 11 comic arc, and it's actually Chloe that begins to establish the Justice League, and a sequel could capitalize on this by establishing a young Justice League where Chloe helps Clark as he steps up to be the leader he's destined to be. This would let fans see Clark trying to navigate the balance of his responsibilities as Superman while keeping his identity a secret. It would be also a chance to expand on Smallville's universe by bringing in known heroes from the rest of the DC universe. So obviously the first part was about Chloe. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. It would be cool to see her back. And in regards to the Justice League side of stuff, I think everyone would be totally in for seeing those characters return, seeing those actors return for like Green Arrow, Aquaman and stuff like that, and seeing them as older versions of the characters. So potentially seeing an older version of the Justice League characters that you saw in Smallville with the addition of a few new members from the DC universe, I think would be totally great. It would be something that I know that fans would definitely want to see, because seeing Clark step up, be a leader for the Justice League, and it being Tom Welling, I feel like that's something that fans deserve to see. So the final part of the Screen Rant video is this. So it's to do with Clark becoming Superman. So They say, "It wasn't until the very last episode of the final season that fans got to see a glimpse of Clark as Superman. This was of course by design, and Tom Welling and the showrunners were focused on Clark's journey, not Superman's, throughout Smallville. This is an opportunity for a Smallville sequel that could focus on Clark's next steps to embracing his superhero role, refining his powers, and facing the moral dilemmas of life as the Man of Steel." So yeah, I guess the whole sequel show would be on the basis that we're continuing off the end of Smallville season 10 and we're going to see him fully fledged as Superman, because that's where they ended the show, and supposedly the animated sequel would continue the legacy, and of course you would see Superman being a major part of the show rather than just him being Clark all the time. But that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you're excited for this potential Smallville sequel that hopefully is going to happen, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video get out there. And subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos if you're new around here. But for now, click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.